a little sports, a little life.
Look at the size of that crow. He's huge.
A lot Saskatchewan. This is the Bunnyhug Podcast with Grant Dick and Jason Blank.
It's time to start our recording, and it's been a little while since we've had the Bunnyhug Podcast. Of course, Jason and Grant and G-Dog. It's just good to see you, brother, because it's been about a month, over a month since we've chatted.
Well, and the feedback that we get, from your sister and my brothers is that it's like it makes it feel like I miss you guys.
Yeah.
Right? And it just is like hearing the voice and just catching up. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we do this too. It's just to keep ourselves connected. And I know my nephew Bodie. I heard it from him that I didn't go and stop in and see him when I was in Saskatoon last time. So I'm not in Saskatoon this time, Bodie. And I didn't go through. I went to Vegas. That's where I went. I went to Vegas, and but let's get into the conversation already. Let's start talking a little bit about we'll start in hockey. Starting the playoff hockey. NHL playoffs are underway right now. 3 Canadian teams are still alive as we speak. Actually, when we're recording this, Winnipeg's right now playing in Dallas. So is it kind of playing out the way you thought, G? Like, I knew Edmonton was going to be strong, but I knew I was going to be worried about their goaltending once again, and I'm worried about their goaltending once again. The Leafs, they're playing better than I thought they would be, especially against Florida, and the Jets are disappointing me right now.
Yeah, well, actually with Winnipeg, just watching that first period just before we jumped on here, they looked like the Winnipeg Jets, and yes, they're down 1-0, but they actually looked like they were dominating, and I think that's a good sign. Edmonton did surprise me. I thought LA would actually take them out because they were hurt coming in. We didn't have Draisaitl was there, but he was hurt before. McDavid was hurt before, and Kane hadn't played all year, and Kane's dominating the series now. Like he's playing really well. So that they surprised me, and the Leafs, it feels like it's the same story.
Yeah, doesn't it though?
Matthews is not showing up at all. Right. I see a lot of funny things online, like the milk carton. Have you seen this kid? Right.
Exactly.
Oh, it's funny, but like what it is, like they don't have that Kachuk like player.
Yes. To
take them to that playoff mentality. They do really well in the regular season, but if you can't kick it into the next gear for the playoffs, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, so both of us are Flames fans, and a lot of people know that already. So I had the opportunity to go down and watch game number 1 of the Golden Knights Edmonton series just by chance. We weren't planning on going to the game, but was able to get tickets to a playoff game in Vegas, of all places. And so we walk into this stadium, and both me and my girl were both Flames fans. So we can't cheer for the Oilers. So first thing we do when we walk in is we stop in at the Golden Knights merchandise store, and she gets herself a Golden Knights sweater and a hat. I've got myself a new Golden Knights hat because we can't be representing Edmonton, and I was wearing Flames red, So so we're up in our seats where we were standing, and I was talking to a bunch of Oilers fans, and this couple comes up to us. They're standing right behind us, and he's from New Jersey, and she's from Georgia, and they're both diehard Oiler fans in their Oilers jerseys and everything. And I'm like, okay, how did you become Oilers fans? And they're like, well, we just love the Oilers. We always have. And said, so you've been to a game in Edmonton, right? And they're like, no, we've never, ever been to a game in Edmonton. But we did go to Game 5 in Florida last year in the Stanley Cup Final. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. But you've never been to a game in Edmonton. So they've never really experienced what it's like to watch a playoff game in a Canadian city. And you and I both have had that experience before. The energy, the atmosphere, like even it was funny when I was in Vegas watching the game, they reacted when the Golden Knights scored, but everybody stood up on their feet and were standing when there was a scrum in the corner. like when they were starting to fight. And it's like, I turned to my girlfriend and I said, what's going on? Like, why is this? How is this happening? What are they celebrating? Because there's nothing going on here. And everybody's standing up and going just crazy because it's a fight. And I'm like,
well, it's Vegas. Somebody's got a bet on the fight. There's going to be a fight. That's what it is.
Where's the money line? Like, what was the... it was funny because on our way over to the game, I was going to put a bet on the game. And actually, the Oilers were not the favorite. Vegas was the favorite to win. So I would have made money, but I didn't put any money on the game. So...
You know, it's funny because I know you talk about going to Vegas, and when we went down for the first time, you were in Vegas
for something. I was there. Yeah,
April 17th, 2017. I think
somewhere around there.
Like that.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So similar situation. I'm not at a wedding, but we were going to the Flames and Oilers up in Edmonton with Olivia and Ben, and I'm walking through there. Like, well, we're going to walk through the casino. I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's your favorite number, or what's a lucky number for you? They're like, well, 28. I said, well, if we're walking through the casino, let's just put some money on 28, and let alone we hit. And same thing when I was in Vegas, I put $20 on 21, and I won, and that paid for that that hotel we got. So, yeah, I mean, it's just something about gambling, and just in that moment,
yes,
you need to put it on the number. And you win. So I ended up walking out there with $200 extra. It was a good night.
Well, and I should have. I really should have. But we were talking about this, and because, of course, I'm an announcer, I'm claiming the hockey game. CRA, it's a tax deduction. Heck yeah, because I learned some new stuff. So it's going to be a tax deduction. So so now there's video evidence that I learned new things. So now if I get audited, I have video evidence now that I'm good.
So you're bringing that cranking wheel to the Dragons Arena?
We actually have the siren. We already have the siren. Yeah. So I'm going to build a castle now with a flaming dragon above it. And then we'll need a new arena because the dragon will start the whole rink on fire because it's all wood.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You needed a new arena anyways.
Well, the last one burned down, so why not, right?
Yeah.
And now there's video evidence if the rink burns down that we talked about it.
We talked about it. It's good.
All right. So, as we continue in the playoffs, are we going to see the first time all Canadian Stanley Cup final in a long time? Like, do you think it'll be since what, 89? Because it was the Canadians and Flames.
Calgary and Montreal.
Yeah. So I think that's the last time it was an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
I think. So anyways, do you think is that coming? Like, do you think the Leafs can do it and get through the East? And is Winnipeg or Edmonton going to be able to seal the deal in the West?
I don't think so.
No?
From what I'm watching, feels like the Hurricanes actually might come out of the East.
Yeah, it does. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. They're kind of this, nobody watches the Washington Carolina series. No. All of a sudden they're up 3-1, right?
Yeah. And Ovechkin's on there. And it's like, and everybody's been talking about Ovechkin all year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
are they up 3-1 or 2-1?
No, you're 3-1. Yeah, they're up 3-1 right now.
3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and yeah, the Oilers with the 0.4 seconds left the other night.
Hey, that was as a Flames fan, that was Draisaitl's best goal I've ever seen him score.
Did you see that? Like the Oilers fan had made a shirt that said "Put it in dry."
Yeah,
like this, and then the Flames page.
Yeah,
push this, put it in dry. I said yes. That was probably him and Steve Smith are going to go down in history, right?
Yeah,
Steve Smith scored in 1989, wasn't it?
Yes, he did.
86. I can't remember which year.
No, it was 89. Yeah, it was 89. Yeah, it was the year. Yeah, we used to call it the year.
Right.
It's funny though because I've seen memes and got to give credit to Budweiser. They've been advertising. The only time that Boston and Detroit have not made the playoffs was back in 1967.
Yeah.
So, they're saying,
that's interesting.
I know, right? So they're saying maybe. So, I'm thinking it's going to be, honestly, I think the Leafs do get by Florida. I don't know if Carolina wins that series, which I think they will now. I don't know if they'll get by Carolina, but I think they can, especially if Stolarz is healthy. But I don't think he'll be healthy yet. Edmonton, you just don't know, because which goaltender is going to show up? Like Stuart Skinner.
Last night.
Yeah, like Skinner, I'm a fan of his. He played for the Broncos, actually. He plays for the Oilers, so it's tough to be a fan of him now. But
he needs rest, right? Because when he got the rest, because
he sucked.
That's his name. Yeah. Yeah. He played himself out of a job.
Yeah.
Well, so he plays last night, and he stood on his head. He actually played really well last night.
I know.
So yeah, it depends on who they're going to get, but Edmonton played it well in front of them. If they do get by, then I don't think Dallas or Winnipeg actually have a chance against Edmonton if they get past Vegas.
Yeah. Connor Hellebuck's he's Connor Hellebuck, and that's the thing. Like, I always think, you remember the stories of goaltenders, and when you start thinking of championships, and it's the goaltenders that you remember, right? And like 89, Mike Vernon, right? Yeah. And when we won in, what was it, 06? No, 04. When the Flames actually won. Yeah, we had Mika.
When it was in.
Yeah, when it was in. We had Mika, right? So, you start talking about those goaltenders, and you've got Connor Hellebuck. And Connor Hellebuck is the differentiator for the Jets. And if it's an Oilers-Jets final, I think the Jets come out of that one just because of the goaltending. That's the only reason. So. But you've got Connor McDavid on the other side. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. If the Jets get into penalty trouble, then it goes the other way, because those guys on the power play are just scary. So
they are. Yeah.
I'm picking you know what? I don't know who to pick for the Stanley Cup champion, though. If it gets to all Canadian, who do we want to win? Right?
Yeah.
If the Leafs win, we don't hear the end of it. If the Oilers win, we don't hear the end of it.
That's right. So if the Jets make it, then we want the Jets to win.
Of course. Yeah, there's no doubt. Exactly. The Jets are our team, right? Because, we become Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Yeah. So we're all praying for the Jets.
We're all praying for the Jets. Now, if one of the teams makes it, to the final, then I will cheer Edmonton. I will cheer Toronto, depending on who makes it. But it won't feel as good. That's all. Right? That's all.
Exactly, right? It'll feel like my heart will hurt, but I'll still celebrate.
Yeah. I may not go buy a jersey. Let's just say that.
Exactly. Like last year, I honestly, I was hoping for Edmonton, but was happy when Florida won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It didn't screw up my golf swing.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Well, let's switch gears to some WHL stuff. So it's kind of interesting. We had a change in the WHL. So the Penticton Vees, who were part of the British Columbia Junior Hockey League, have now moved up, and they are now part of the WHL. They had an expansion draft here last week, and the Vees actually just went out of the playoffs last night. So 62 years they were part of the BCHL, and now they're into the Western Hockey League.
In the dub.
Yeah, so you'll get to see the Penticton Vees in Moose Jaw, Grant. Do you care?
I do. It takes me back to when we didn't have a team. We had the Moose Jaw Canucks.
That's right.
Right, and then the Winnipeg Warriors came to town, and it's 1984, I think, around there.
Yeah, it was the year before the Broncos came back. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's take me back. I'll get to see them once a year, right? I don't think they'll come out here more than that. But it's good. It's good for the league. I think overall, the talent is strong enough that we can support it. Right?
Yeah, I think so too. The one thing is the big change, of course, with junior hockey has been the college and universities for the Americans So you're getting the opportunity for WHL players now to be NCAA players after they finish hockey, which, you know, I don't know if it's kind of hurt the opportunities here in AJHL in Drumheller where I am. In AJHL hockey, it's changed it. We won't get the talented players for their whole career. But what we've seen here, and it's been really interesting, is we've got younger players, like 16-year-olds that won't make because you can only have one 16-year-old on a WHL team right now. But they can come play here for us and then be drafted and go up and play in the WHL back and forth, which before you couldn't do that. So now it's kind of cool. Like this year we had this young man, Easton Deneau. He was the Canadian Junior A Hockey League Rookie of the Year. Just an amazing player playing here for Drumheller, and he's the property of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. So we got to see him in his 16-year-old year, had an amazing year here. Next year, probably will be playing with Lethbridge. I wouldn't expect him here. But we're going to see those young players play in the AJHL and the BCHL, and well, not the BC because they're not part of Hockey Canada anymore. But
that's weird. But
yeah, it's stupid. But anyways, that's another topic on another day. But it's going to be cool to see a younger team. Like we'll have a lot younger teams, I think, but we'll see more talent, I think, here too, which will be really, really cool to watch.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, because before, with the AJHL, you'd see the Cale Makars, but it'd be like one player in the league.
Yeah.
Right. Now it'll be probably you'll see them before they get to be 16, 17 years old playing with you guys, and yeah, it's a good feeling. I know you know it too. Is like when I go and watch these NHL teams, I watch Braden Point play in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
I watch Morgan Riley play on the Leafs, and you just remember what it was like to see them at that age.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and like we was talking about Stuart Skinner, like he played for the Swift Current Broncos. So you have that connection, and then you follow their careers into the NHL, and for us in the Junior A world, we'll be able to do that now because they'll play their first year here, and then they'll maybe go up and become NHL stars, and we'll be able to see that. And it won't be just one guy; it'll be maybe 10 guys from our league or 15 guys that we've had the chance to see play here will actually move up and stuff like that. So that's going to be kind of cool, I think. But it's kind of too bad because, kids had the opportunity. If they think they were going to make the NHL, they would go the WHL route. And if they wanted to get the education, they would go the Junior A route. And it's still possible for sure. There's still opportunities. Like kids are still getting scholarships here and things like that. But going to be different. But that's okay. I think we're okay with that.
I think so. If you think about playing in a league, and I see it, with the young kids all the time, they're going to stand out in a different league in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So it could still encourage them to say, you know what, I like winning. So
yeah, exactly.
if I play at this other level or this other league, then I'm going to win more. And I like winning.
Yes,
I like right. So it's a better feeling than losing for sure. So maybe that'll be something that they think about when they're signing up for their teams.
Well, here's the thought. I think that's a good idea. I sure hope that is the case. I really do. NLL, National Lacrosse League. So we were talking about this before we started. Saskatchewan Rush, they're in the national championship against Buffalo. So you got to always tie to Saskatchewan when we're talking the Bunnyhug podcast. And so you and I were chatting, and you've never had actually an opportunity to go watch a lacrosse game yet.
No, I haven't not. And I hear lots of great things about it. I even know a few people that are Moose Javians who have season tickets.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it's a 2.5 hour drive to Saskatoon to go see these guys, but they talk about how it's like a high school dance and or not even, maybe it's a high school dance, or it's like, the first time you're going out to the pub and there's a dance floor there, you're dancing on the speakers. That's what the game is like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then there's a lacrosse game that you can watch too.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, I hear it's unbelievable and how much of it's a party atmosphere overall.
Well, it's funny because last year I had the opportunity to do a DJ gig at the Calgary Roughnecks at the Dome. And I didn't DJ during the game, but it was in the intermissions and stuff. But when you get there, it's like the music doesn't stop. It's like, I honestly think we should take this and bring this into hockey, because I think it's just, the energy is just so much fun. And, and if you like goals, like the final scores of these games is like 16-14. So you're going to be celebrating 16 times if your team wins.
That's true. That's very good.
See,
I actually just had a thought too. This is because it's totally off tangent.
I love it.
That's how my mind works. But I go to these conferences all the time. I'm going to an SAP conference here next week. I'm at the Dreamforce conference in September. Sometimes they do the exact same thing. They pump this loud music into the conference with a bunch of nerds just walking around. Right? It's like this atmosphere doesn't make sense.
So is it like junior high dance where like everybody stands to the side and there's just a bunch of big empty space?
The girls are over here, boys are over here. Right? Yeah, it's an interesting thing. They're trying to get you hyped up for this thing, and they're like, but it's work.
Yeah,
like,
it's hyped up for a discussion about IT.
You're right. Yeah, talk about artificial intelligence. Well, no, I'm going to talk about dumb intelligence because I'm drinking beer. That's the kind of party that I want.
Exactly, right? So that's why you should. Yeah, so you'll get that same feeling if you go to a lacrosse game with the beer.
Yeah. With the beer.
The beer. Like it's a Vec beer.
Yeah, a Vec beer. That's good. We don't use French in Saskatchewan, Jason.
That's the only time you use it. When you're talking beer. A Vec beer and Molson.
A Vec beer. Yes.
Yeah, export.
That's good.
And Bohemian. Oh, no, that's not French.
Bohemian. But... That's okay. We'll pretend it is.
No, why not? I think so. So what's the summer looking like? Have you had the chance to swing the clubs yet?
Yeah, I went out for one. Me, Brad, and Jacob went out for a round. It was good. Felt pretty good. I'm going out tomorrow for men's night. So I got a membership this year.
Nice.
Limbrook.
I tell you.
So I'm gonna try and get out as more than I did last year, because last year I was focused on a project at work that it took a lot of my time. So this year I got to focus on that. I got a bunch of vacation to use, so I got to all those things. Like, you know what, it's time to unwind my brain because I need to.
Well, we should. You know what we should do? Take the Bunnyhug podcast on vacation.
Yeah, on the road.
Well, yeah. The one of the most memorable vacations I remember was your and my vacation in New York City. Like, I had so much fun on that trip.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of the cool, like, even Vegas a few years back.
Yeah.
That's what I remember too, is the hanging out. Like, I can still remember us sitting at the House of Blues and having just relaxing, just having fun.
Even I'm pretty sure we were all there. There was a picture of all of us sitting at a round table.
Yeah, that was the House of Blues.
That was the House of Blues?
That was the House of Blues in Mandalay Bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that we should maybe have to set something up like that, because then we can just, go and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you never know. Bunnyhug podcast might be coming to you from someplace. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't know. Whoever knows. We have no idea where we are most of the time. Actually, you're in Moose Jaw right now, which is odd for us.
Yeah, that's true. I don't do a lot of them from here.
No. Well, I had to catch you on your in between time. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm constantly at the airport. It feels like I'm there. They know me by name. It's like, it used to be Boston Pizza, but now it's the airport YQR, right? It's like walk in, it's like, Ranch! It's like, no.
You have your spot at the Chili's in Regina.
I wish we had a Chili's. We only got like a Tim Hortons and some other random no-name restaurant at the YQR.
Oh, see.
sidetrack again.
Love it.
Boston Pizza was, born in Edmonton, right?
Correct.
No, the first location. They have a Boston Pizza at the airport. But you know
Oh.
what they don't have?
What?
Fishbowl Friday. They do not have Fishbowl Friday. And I was so pissed off because I was like, I come in, I'm like, I'm just flying through. I'm only stopping in for, a couple hours.
Yeah.
But at least I can go sit down and have a fishbowl on Friday. No, we don't do that at the airport. You sons of bitches.
Exactly. Come on. Like, that's where it needs to be happening more. Like, it should be fishbowl every day at the airport. Because that's where you get your, I don't think, is there any booze rules at the airport? Because I see people drinking at all hours of the day at the airport.
There is no booze rules. There's no, you have to wait till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
If there's somebody there that's standing, in that restaurant, you can get a beer. You can get whatever you want to drink.
Yeah.
I don't know how they circumvent the laws, or if they're just they're in the Eastern time zone, like we're talking London, right?
Yeah. It's right. London. And you walk through those gates. Once you pass security, it's like no man's land. It's like the abyss. Here's a tangent for it. It's the Matrix. It's like the inside of the Matrix. It's like the hub. And
that's exactly what it's like. Yeah.
You're just in the mainframe, and then you fly back out and you're in the other part of the Matrix.
I seen a good meme the other day, and it said, asking a guy, "Would you like a beer?" And the guy says, "Isn't it too early?" He's like, "Too early for a beer?" He's like, "No, for dumb questions."
There you go. See? Yeah. So and it's weird how we're going off on a way tangent here, but it's fun. The airport. Let's talk airport, because you're in the airport often. I've went into the airport. So the Vegas airport is one of the most unique places in the world because you've got slot machines in the Vegas airport. So we were sitting there and cool. We had 2.5 hours waiting for our flight because we got to the airport early. What do? Well, I'm bored. Might as well sit at the slot machine and throw in some money. So why does
extra $20?
Yeah. Exactly. So why doesn't every airport have slot machines? It's the abyss.
That's true. I mean, you can drink whenever you want.
Exactly. There's no rules.
Yeah, and then you can go to church too if you want. I mean, if you sin, you can go to church. There's a chapel in it, I think, in every airport too. Right? I
don't know if I've ever seen the chapel. No. Have you ever? So that's what you do so you go and pray when you're in the abyss.
No. Let's get it straight. I'm the one doing the sermon.
That's right. Oh, okay. Grant is the new pope.
Yeah. And somebody sneezes, I was like, "God bless you." Right? I mean, this is how I roll.
So I honestly think that we should be. So this is something we should start. The biggest casino in Saskatchewan should be at YQR.
Yeah. Where there are no rules.
Exactly, because once you're past that international security, it's like, well, in YQR they don't have that, I guess, because there's no U.S. customs at YQR. But
there is.
Oh, is there?
When you come through, but it's not like the. Well, I guess no, you're right. It's only Canadian customs there. It's not the U.S. customs.
No, it's not U.S. customs. Yeah, because
no. That's right, because only when we come home that we have that.
Because they here in Calgary, because you usually fly through Calgary from Regina. Of course, you've got the American customs, and then you get, and it's funny too because you get segmented into a different part of the airport where they have different things there.
Yep.
That you can't get in any part of the airport. Like I remember back in the day, Calgary Airport used to have Chick-fil-A, but it was in the Canadian side. So if you were on an international flight, you couldn't go to the Chick-fil-A.
What was weird, so I just flew through there on Friday. We actually went through the international wing because it was D. So I had seen Heathrow on one side from London, and then there's Regina right across there. It's like it didn't make sense. I don't know why we were flying out of that one, but it is what it is. What's really funny is Toronto. You can see there's a glass wall that you can't get across to this other side. So you can see people eating at these restaurants that you want to go to, but you can't go.
And to find a Tim Hortons, no, that's exactly right. Unless you're in Regina, because that's the only place to. There's Tim Hortons and Boston Pizza.
Exactly.
So you're jet setting again on soon, and you're heading back south. So how's it been going across? It's been easy. I found it wasn't any different.
It wasn't any different.
No.
Yeah, I just dress like a hobo when I'm going across. I don't look like a businessman, so nobody questions. Nobody questions me, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, he's good.
He's good.
He's
yeah,
good.
He's just going for holiday or whatever."
I stink, so it doesn't matter. It's like
you seem to get your own row in the plane for some reason. I'm not sure why, but
not sure why. It's the flatulence.
Yeah,
it's the flatulence.
That's it.
That's one thing that I've always talked or thought about. I haven't talked about it that much, but if I was going to do stand up, what's one of the first things I would say is that first of all, I got to apologize to the people sitting beside me on the plane because I don't give a shit and I just fart. There's no point in holding it in because it's going to hurt me.
Yeah,
it's going to hurt me.
Exactly.
I don't want to hurt.
And yeah, do you care who you're sitting beside? Not really.
No, I'm never going to see him again. Right?
Yeah, so that's why they have to put extra filters on airplanes because of that reason.
Yeah, Brad thinks that the farts don't stink on planes. I'm like,
no, we can't smell them.
I can. Yeah, Brad can't smell it because his nose is plugged. That's,
yeah, the rest of us can. So
yeah, everybody else can smell it, except he can't because that's a good defense mode. Yep.
So again, if we do this traveling and we take the show on the road, you've got to be in row 8, and I'll be in row 32, and that way we have our distance, and then we can share with our compatriots on the plane, and yeah.
I'll give you a funny story from high school. So you think that you can't hear across the whole classroom, right? But it's pretty quiet, whatever. There's one guy that had like superhuman hearing. Like I farted across in the front row on the right hand side. He was sitting in the back row. I farted and his head popped up and he looked over at me. I'm like, nobody else looked, just that one guy.
Did they stand up and applaud?
No, they should have though.
Well, it's kind of like fighting when you watch NHL down in Vegas. Everybody stands up and cheers. Like I think farts should be celebrated.
Oh, they should be.
Wow,
they are the funniest things, and it goes back to when I first learned how to use a dictionary. What's the first thing I looked up? The word fart. A slight explosion from the rear. I mean,
and I love that you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the description and the explanation. A slight explosion from the rear.
It was so funny. Farts are funny, man. I can't stop giggling about it.
I know, and it's funny because you watch like reels, and of course I've got a 9-year-old, right? And Chloe loves when we watch farting reels. So of course, and me, being as mature and distinguished as I am, love it just as much.
Yeah,
but
it never gets old for me. I can talk about farts all day, every day. It makes me happy.
It does, and it shouldn't, but it does. Like,
it's like some people want to talk about politics. It's like, I'd rather not. So let's talk about farts.
And that's why we have a podcast right there.
Exactly.
Right there. Exactly. So we can talk about farts. Excellent.
So one thing, we're talking about gambling that we had to get to this topic too.
Sure.
Was Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. So Pete Rose, it's so funny because, he couldn't get into the Hall of Fame because gambling on the baseball.
Yeah, betting on the Reds is essentially what he did. And Shoeless Joe Jackson did the same thing with the White Sox back in the 20s. Yeah. Right?
So, if you're watching any sports these days, what is the first commercial and the only commercials you see? It's just like everybody's betting on sports, right?
And it's funny because here in Canada, we have all these betting commercials, and I even find we have it on our, like on the radio station I work at. We have casino and betting commercials, but only applicable in Ontario. So like the rest of Canada can't bet on this stuff anyways. Like BetMGM, they've spent thousands, millions of dollars on these commercials on hockey on Sportsnet, and it only applies to anybody that lives in Ontario.
And it should never be on Sportsnet West. Like, never. Like,
No,
I should never ever see that commercial.
Play Alberta, okay. I don't know. In Saskatchewan, there's probably an equivalent or whatever, but
I don't know if there is one in Saskatchewan. There might be, but I
don't know. I've never heard of the Sask lotteries. But yeah, so, and that's the thing. Like, they advertise the Oilers 50-50 on Sportsnet West.
Yeah.
Only applicable to people in Alberta.
Yeah, so then I got to phone you to buy me a ticket.
Exactly. So now do you think because of this, do both Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete Rose head to the Hall of Fame because they've been reinstated?
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't see how they can. I mean, there's a slide that's named after Pete Rose.
Yeah.
All-time hits leader. Yeah. Like there's just no end. And Shoeless Joe, I mean, he has a name, Shoeless Joe. Like this, there's a Field of Dreams. Yeah. Is like kind of about him, and it's just so funny to think that because of gambling, like it's really not bad unless they were throwing the game, which they weren't.
No, but back in the day, it was more because gambling now is so prevalent. Like as we talked about the commercials, and everybody's like, it's. And I hope the guys that are playing the game aren't gambling on the games now.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that this could be the reasoning that they've come back and said, okay, well, we can allow this now is because it's so prevalent in our society compared to what it was back in the day. So yeah, I think they both should be right. Like next year, both of them should be in the Hall of Fame guaranteed. And it's too bad because they're both passed away now. Like, I wish Pete Rose this should have been cleared up decades ago with him, and he should have been able to have his moment and being brought into the Hall of Fame with honor because he was one of the best ball players in history.
It's interesting. If you think about it this way, it's a lifetime ban that he had from the Hall of Fame. Well, he's dead.
Yeah.
So his lifetime is over.
Yeah.
So now he's going to get in. That's it's a bad way to think about it, but maybe somebody was thinking it that way. They're like, you know what? Once he's passed, then we'll reinstate him so that he can get in. But it's for me, it is too little, too late. Like,
well, and Shoeless Joe Jackson's 100 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's been a century. And now we'll let you in because everybody gambles now. So you go ahead, sure, you're fine.
Sure. Yeah. Reminds me of the Saturday Night Live skit where they did have the all drugs Olympics. And right?
Yeah, totally right.
It's like you might as well it's like everybody. If anybody's going to cheat, if everybody's going to cheat, then just let them cheat and see who can cheat the best. Right?
Take sports to a whole new level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're just fans, anyways.
Yeah, that's all we are.
Like we just want to watch, and like you said, you want to see 16 goals, go watch a Rush game. Yeah, right. I want to see lots of goals. I want to see lots of action. So that's probably it's not bad for the sport.
No. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm not sold on it.
Another thing they should do, and I'm going off on tangents.
I love it.
Everywhere. In the WNBA, why don't they just lower the basket by 1 foot? Right? Everybody likes to see slam dunks.
Yeah.
And if you do that, because it's a smaller ball. It's there's different rules. The 3-point line's not, or the 3-point line's not as far. So make that adjustment, and I bet you'll sell more tickets.
And that's what it's all about, right? And it'd make more money. So, and then the females basketball players will make as much money as the male basketball players.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. No. Hey, I think we should pass that along. We've solved a problem there for the WNBA right there.
I think so.
I think
just
we
can't. We won't be able to sell it to Trump. I don't think he'll buy in.
We had to get him in once. There we go.
We did. Yeah.
All right, G. Well, yeah, this was fun. We got to do this again sooner rather than later.
We do. Yeah. And, forgive me for not being the instigator a lot of the times, but it's always good to catch up.
It always is. Awesome, brother. Well, until next time, my friend, we'll chat soon.
All right. Later, man.
Well, that was almost better than the smell of a freshly harvested field after it rains, eh? Almost. This has been the Bunnyhug Podcast, hosted by Grant Dick and Jason Blank, with production assistance from Scott Mitchell. He's basically the 13th man. We, pay him in Pilsner. Hey, who wrote this? Subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and search for the Bunnyhug Podcast on Facebook. Produced by Blankman Productions.